Welcome to Season 6 of the Long-Winded One podcast. This is Spoiler Sessions, Lit RPG, the only show where spoilers don't spoil anything. We're digging into fan theories, side characters, and the lore authors left in the drawer.
Okay, well, welcome everyone. This is season 6 of the podcast. This is Spoiler Sessions, and we're gonna spoil. Well, hopefully we don't spoil too much tonight. And if we do, there'll be little baby spoilers. We are gonna get into the lore of the wonderful authors that I have with me tonight. So I just want to welcome you all to the podcast. With me, I have Rachel A. Cooper and Aoife Y here, and this is where we all wave and try not to talk over each other. That happens when there's so many people on camera. You write under the pen name sometimes Cooper Y. So if people are looking for you out there in the wild, they can look for that name. They can look for R.A. Cooper. They can look for Rachel A. Cooper. So tonight it's really kind of afternoon where I am. I know where you are. It's closer to bedtime. So Rachel, you're in France right now, right?
Yeah. So it's midnight right now.
Oh man. And Aoife, you're in Ireland, so it's closer to 11.
11, yeah.
Well, thank you for being flexible and joining us. We have some questions tonight that we're going to get to, that we're going to sort of drill into Uncharted Bloodlines, Hunter Origins, Bone Queen, and A Titan's Core. So we have questions that we're going to sort of dig into there. But before we do that, I just want to say I'll probably actually get to meet you both in 2 weeks at Lit RPG Con. Is that right?
Yeah. Very excited. Yeah. We'll both be there. We'll all three be there, I guess. And hopefully we'll run into each other more than once, I'm sure.
Oh, 100%. I'll be floating in and around the panels, and I'm going to be on 4 or 5 panels myself. So it's so much fun. And were you both there last year?
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, we were on panels last year at the games as well. And like that, going around the vendor hall, and yeah, it's great. And LobbyCon.
Yeah, 100%. And so we have some folks joining us in chat. I just want to remind everyone that if you have questions, I'll try to keep an eye on the comments here, and we can ask them. I can put them up on the screen, and we're just gonna go from there. But 2 weeks. I've been doing a countdown since I think January 6th or something like that. And this is episode 32. So of the season. So for 32 weeks, I've been, and I just can't believe it's in 2 weeks. I'll stop.
Crazy,
yeah.
Yeah.
So before I ask the questions, and I'm sure you've covered this somewhere else, but I am curious, how did you all start writing together?
We met in a writing group, and Rachel she was looking for somebody who wanted to work on a story together for Vela when Vela was up, and it was to be like, say, with somebody who wouldn't be able to access it outside the US. So it's me. So so we started. That's our the very first series we wrote, Wolf and Flame. So that evolved out of that collaboration, and we've been writing for 5 years now.
I'll be going on 6 soon. Yeah.
Oh wow, yeah. Since about the pandemic, then is that?
Yeah, about more into 2021, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
this is when we started. Yeah, we both had previously published beforehand independently.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, I want to dig into this. Can we start with Uncharted Bloodlines? Is that all right?
Yeah.
All right. So the first question I have for you is, and generally, I'm going to ask the question, and then just for context, if I could have one of you sort of give like a high level view of what the story is about, and then we can sort of dig into the question. Does that work?
That works.
Yep.
Okay. What was the original vision for Bloodforged Ascension? And do you still plan to return to that universe?
I don't know who you want to go, Aoife, or you want me to?
I was going to say, do you want me to say? So what Bloodforged Ascension is about? So that was for an anthology, and it's actually, it was a side character, Liam, who's like a werewolf or a wolf shifter. And we looked at it as like he would be, what would it be like for him to be isekai'd into a cultivation world? So he's a powerful wolf shifter. He's lived for 700 years. He gets isekai'd, has to start over again in a cultivation world. And it's kind of like academy with an alchemy focus. And there's, with the anthology the way it was, there was like we put some steamy scenes in there for a library, steamy scenes, what have you. Yeah. So so it was an interesting one. And yeah, I don't know what I probably should warn you, I tend to go off on tangents. So
well, what's going to happen is you're going to go off on a tangent, and I'm going to forget the original question. But
I do that all the time.
But I'm going to bring us back. And so the question was, so you answered part of it, but I guess the second part of that question was, do you still plan to return to that universe?
Yeah.
Rachel.
Yeah. So I mean, eventually the intention was to continue with that as a series on its own. But other projects came up, and so we kind of switched gears, jumped on those, and then it's still there and it's open to return to, with some good characters that we enjoyed writing.
Yeah,
and it's bonus material in our newsletter, isn't it, as well?
It is, yeah. Mm-hmm.
And did you both have experience in sort of the world of cultivation before? Did you have experience there?
A big fan. That's where that was like, I'd call my gateway books into lit RPG. So I read, first, I mean, I suppose I would have watched a lot of kind of like Sancha and Wuxia and everything, a lot of Hong Kong movies, like 70s, 80s, all that sort of stuff. When I met my husband, and I met him in a martial arts club as well. So big love for that whole thing. And then I was introduced to Cradle, was it Threads of Fate, Coiling Dragon. There was a few books that I just like started into them, and then I started to see more of the kind of like lit RPG, like Dungeon Crawler Carl and He Who Fights with Monsters, and that's how got into it.
Yeah, I'm embarrassed to say that I still haven't read Cradle, but it's on my list. It's on my TBR.
Yes, it's a good one.
You've got a lot to look forward to then.
I have a whole lot to look forward to, which is the best thing about our genre.
Yes. Yeah.
Well, Rachel, how about you? Did you have did you like, was your TBR just full of cultivation novels?
So Aoife introduced the cultivation to me. She's like, okay, you need to go read this. But in the pre-planning stages, I guess we would talk about this. Everything she was talking about in terms of the cultivation, it all made sense to me because I have a psychology background. And so I was like, oh yeah, this makes sense for different types of therapy, and it kind of forms that way. And so I did go and read, I think Cradle was the first one, and Threads of Fate. So they're all very good. I was like hooked from there, went into lit RPG as well. No going back.
Yeah, no, there really isn't. I mean, after you go down this rabbit hole, it's like everything else kind of, it doesn't have the layering that we have in our genre. Everything is just, there's the story, and then there's everything else. And then on top of that, there's the narration, which is just spectacular in our genre. So
yes.
Yeah. Anyway, I digress this time. So now let's talk Hunter Origins. Can you just tell us a little bit about Hunter Origins? And I have several questions about that.
So Hunter, so he was a character again in Wolf and Flame, and I think we had a lot of fun creating him. I think we were both talking about, we've a lot of like pop culture and different things, you know, that we both love, like say Garth Ennis, and we were reading The Boys, and then obviously the TV show come up. And he's kind of like the Deep in that he's a very flawed character, but there is like, he has this really like strong character growth arc, you know, and he's an immortal cultivator, so he has a long history behind him as well. And we got to thinking, like, this guy, like, what would he have been like before he was a cultivator, and where did he grow up? So out of that came this Greek-inspired, not historically accurate, but a Greek-inspired cultivation world, and into a tower climber, basically type of series we were thinking. And yeah, so it was, I think what was unique to that was that it was a broken system, where he was going to be the first initiate of this new system as chosen by a god, Claude.
Well, I'm trying to like move my mind forward after you mentioned the Deep, because he scarred me in The Boys, and it just, you know, I mean, it's so a lot of that stuff is really uncomfortable, but I'm gonna just plow through that.
We didn't go there.
Yeah, no, it's what I say, loosely sparked, more the kind of, you know, the saving the animals type of thing, rather than the other stuff.
Yeah, well, right. Well, you know, you mentioned steamy scenes earlier, and I gotta say, like, not everybody can write those. So my hat's off to you. I am not good at writing those scenes, so I avoid them completely.
It took some research to do, but we figured it out.
Yeah, some research, right? That's what I'm gonna. Oh, okay. I was gonna say I'm gonna go tell my wife that and see, you know, what she thinks. Anyway, so I have a question about your where people can find Hunter Origins, and so there's like a hidden library of stories on your website. Is that right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Is that where we find Hunter Origins? Is that the best place to find it?
So, you know, Hunter Origins is still actually on Royal Road. It's on hiatus. About a book and a half is up there right now. And there are side characters. He doesn't make an appearance in like a winter holiday tale that was like a loot drop for us last year. And we'll probably put that up there this coming season in our hidden library, so people can enjoy some of the other side characters that get to come along. But that's where Hunter Origins is. So Roller Road, you can find it there.
Yeah.
And how has your Royal Road journey been so far? Very positive?
Yeah, a roller coaster, I would say. I would say overall it's positive. And again, you could probably say, like, when you look back to the first time, when we were first posting Hunter Origins, and being like, oh, you know, trying to do everything, you know, right, and posting, you know, and following a schedule and all of this. And then when we came to post for a Titan's Core, we just sort of relaxed so much more, and we were so much more used to it. And we didn't really set kind of any goals, and just given kind of life circumstances at the time, we didn't kind of push for it to, you know, do lots of shout outs and all. It was just like, we just wanted to get it up, you know, by the week or what have you, you know. But yeah, I think, and, you know, the community of, you know, like outreach there, you know, people leaving comments, you know, all sorts of comments and stuff, like, you know, again, in the beginning, it can be a little bit daunting, but then you just kind of like, you know, it's like reviews and things like that. After a while, you kind of get kind of used to all sorts of feedback.
Yeah, I mean, for an author or a pair of authors who are writing and feeling like, okay, there's certain things that you have to do, and there's certain things you have to do on Royal Road, but you also you have a Patreon that you also have to maintain, right? So that's like an extra layer of you know, things that you have to do every week, right? I mean, do you find that stressful at all, or you have it down at this point?
Yeah, it took us some time. We're pretty regular now, but we try and post. We post like twice a month for our Patreon. And we're not doing Royal Road right now. We may go back to it with another series for next year, but we'll see.
Well, I suppose with two of you, you can kind of delegate too, right? Like, okay, you post on Royal Road, I'll take care of Patreon. Anyway, I can't bring myself to do Patreon. It's just too much. But I have more questions about Hunter Origins. Again, I'm going to focus on here. So the side characters, we have two that we're going to talk about here in a bit. But what made you feel like some of the side characters in Hunter Origins deserve their own story? And what makes that cultivation system different?
I'll talk about the cultivation system first, if that's okay.
Yeah.
And then, the side characters I'm trying to, So the cultivation system, as I say, it's a broken system starting out. So it's a one size fits all. So for Hunter, he is in kind of like it's weak to strong kind of progression for him, and he's pretty much exiled. So he's a very tough start. So he is chosen by a god to be the first initiate in a new kind of more like tailor-made 13 paths of cultivation system. And this cultivation system, it's going to be like the origins of the cultivation system that ends up in Wolf and Flame, which is basically it's based on the Celtic zodiac of animals and totems. And so each initiate can build a stronger foundation because they're using a path that's tailored to their kind of like their makeup and their personality. And Rachel used her kind of psychology background to make up a chi cultivation quiz that's on our newsletter. So all that's what I think kind of makes it kind of different,
Yeah. Rachel, you have anything you want to add?
Well, I think you covered it pretty good with that, with the cultivation aspect of it and the system. Okay. So you mentioned the side characters, right?
Yeah.
So in Wolf and Flame, we had a lovable bunny that had a lot of sass named Binky. And also in the Titan's Coral, we pulled in Paul, which is a firefly squid. And both of them are quite lovable. Paul's got a little bit of a zest and he loves to cook. Binky's actually a descendant from a demon bunny king. So she's got a lot of attitude, but she's got a heart of gold at the same time.
Those are my favorite characters. Yeah.
And what's nice is both of them are relatable in the sense they have like a loss. And so they share sorrow with one another. And so a lot of people can relate to them. It's not just for comic relief, but you get to experience how they turn their loss based off their personality type.
Yeah. And we were talking via email, and you one of you mentioned that Paul and Binky are kind of fan favorites. And do you think it's that spunkiness that you mentioned?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, I mean, what do you think? I mean, we named Paul after one of our readers and hangs out with us. So.
Yeah, and it's like sometimes the characters of their namesakes, they're kind of inspired. They mightn't be exactly 100% like a character, but there's a lot of joy when we're making these characters, and I feel like that comes across then in the dialogue, the action beats, what we're doing, and as Rachel said, I think also just adding those extra layers, like as I say, it's not them just kind of putting in the funny one-liners. It's like they do have, like Paul in the Christmas season story that we did, like you get to see his background. It's kind of like, if you've ever seen, like Studio Ghibli's, like Ponyo, so there's there's the innocence there, but there's the waves of grief underneath as well. Like, and you get to find that out through his interactions with other people. And the same for Binky. Like, she believes that she's descendant of the demon Bunny King, and it turns out that she's more of a kind of like, if you think of like kind of a Project X type of thing, she's actually like a lab experiment, and she has had her own her clutch of bunnies, her little babies taken away from her and things like that. So you get to, so it's not all just, there's a lot of, so for her, that's why she's so defensive and untrusting, but she doesn't have the memories of what happened to her initially. Yeah.
Aoife, you're leaving no reference left unturned. I love the Project X reference. That's awesome. And back to these side characters. You're right. They're not just about comic relief. And in some cases, I think it's the side characters that really move the stories along. At least that's what I've found. Yeah. So, okay. Well, we have about 9 minutes left together, and I have 2 more series that I want to talk about. I want to spend some time on a Titan score. I want to make sure we get to that. But I do have a question about the Bone Queen. So would one of you want to tell us about Bone Queen?
Aoife, I'll let you take it too. All right.
Yes, that's this is kind of something we've been drafting on and off with another co-author, Robin Weidman. So it is, it's had a first pass, and now we're kind of going back through it. And so the first half of it needs to be fixed to match now with kind of the latter second half of it. So what is it about? Sorry, I should probably say. It's a female necromancer, Sam Evans, and it's basically herself and her college friends are given the opportunity, kind of a system apocalypse kind of happens, and they go to a tutorial world in order to get stronger. Their whole planets are going to be merged with some other planets. There's a whole kind of, I won't go into the reason as to why, but so they're going to this tutorial. There's a dungeon world, all that sort of stuff, and to go into the dungeons and also manage a little kind of tavern as well. So a bit of a mix of things.
Yeah, I mean, do you, Rachel? I don't mean to cut you off, but I see like you're trying to describe the story, and that's exactly how people who aren't familiar with lit RPG, when I try to describe any of these books to them, I'm like, okay, so there's this world, but it's not really a world, and then it's like trying to describe a dream in some cases. Unless you're there, you just don't get it. Yeah, go ahead, Rachel. I'm sorry, I interrupted.
Oh no. I was gonna say it's got a little bit of a slice of life along with the dungeon diving and monster hunting. So
nice. Well, the question that I have about it is tell us about the deleted Queen Gimp dungeon scene and why it didn't make or why it's not going to make the final cut.
Okay, so when we do outline scenes, we work together, and then with the time zone difference, usually I'm up first and I'll start drafting. And I have a bit of a pantser brain on me. So I will go with the outline, and then something will just pop in my head, and I'll just start going.
No way. I would have never guessed.
Yes, by the way that I describe things. Yeah. And so I decide, well, we were doing a goblin scene. So they'd gone into the dungeon, they're killing all the dungeons. And for some reason, it's just kind of popped into my head, right? There was going to be a later massive monster lichen caterpillar. So I just saw that this was in behind a kind of like, a big wooden door. And I was like, it was kind of going a bit kind of Pulp Fiction here now with the,
I know what you're talking about. Yeah.
And so then it got like, it just went off. It could have been its own book nearly. And I'd written what should have been 1 or 2 chapters turned into more. And then we had a break from it for a while, and we came back. And like that, always when you have a bit of time and distance, I was looking at going, I don't know, no. And we've all these other things we're supposed to tie in, and we need to maybe just finish with the, going after the Goblin King, we'll say, or what have you. Yeah, so that was that. I mean, it's like we did a zombification of a donkey in Wolf Lane before, and that went full on graphic, dead.
It was hilarious.
And like that, we had, when we were coming back in the second pass, and I'm reading it, I actually couldn't stop laughing, because I was just going, oh, this is too much. This is way too much. So this is what happens when you give a little bit of space and you come back to what you've written. Sometimes it's a good thing.
No, I think that space is important. Stephen, we talked about Stephen King when he wrote the whole book, a whole book on his reflections on writing, and that's something that he says, is that he writes it and then he sticks it in a drawer for 6 weeks, and he doesn't come back to it, for 6 weeks. And when he picks it up again, if he likes it, he knows he's got something there. So I think that space is important. Rachel, do you have anything to add to that?
I don't know. I mean, I don't know if some of that hit our Patreon or not. I don't know if we edited it beforehand or if it's up there. I think we might have edited it beforehand. But it's always fun. Like nothing that we have goes to waste. So we always share Google Docs, and it's set aside, so we can always go back to it and throw it out there for some fun.
Well, that sounds amazing. Actually, I'm really interested in this zombie donkey scene. It reminds me of this. I don't know if you've ever seen it. There's like a zombie sheep movie called Black Sheep. Totally worth seeing. But
I've seen it.
Yeah, it reminds me of that, I guess. Anyway, again, tangent. I want to talk a Titan's Core. Now, a Titan's Core is through Legion Publishers. Is that right?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay. And could you tell us a little bit about that?
Yes. Will I start, Rachel, or would you like to?
You've been on a roll, but I can go for it. So if you think about a tower climber and isekai, so the main character gets isekai'd, the main goals that they have to climb to the top. There's a jackpot that's being held by this lich, and it's the jackpot for immortality. And so if you think about this, Squid Games meets kind of kaiju battlefield. So you've got the tower made from reanimated kaiju, and then they are forced to kind of climb the floors and battle these kaiju in order to reach the jackpot and survive. So
that sounds awesome. It sounds really good. Yeah,
it was a lot of fun writing. And then we have they have their mad balls as well, these battles to collect time. So like that, and they're all like dependent on your own experience. So for our main character, his look like mad balls from the 1980s. So we were able to get that on the cover and everything, which I thought was pretty cool.
Oh, that is really cool. Well, I only have a few minutes left with you, but I have a question about this. Okay. So the question for a Titan's Core is, so you replaced the Ascender numbers with a credit system. Can you talk about that?
Rachel can.
Was that hard to
It
implement?
was very hard. So we have time is actually the currency for this tower, and if someone dies, basically it goes into the jackpot of immortality. We had initially had them kind of de-identified where the credit system was tied to the number that the lich would call them out as, so the Ascender number 105. But with the currency always changing, there might be more than one Ascenders with 105 credits. And so even though if we put in our dialogue, we had our traits and things, and we could identify them, we had our spreadsheets off to the side, it got to be too confusing for the readers to smoothly pick it up. So we ended up just going back in and adding in a credit balance to the stat sheet. It was painful because we had to go all the way back to the very beginning, create a new spreadsheet and like keep track of this credit balance, you know, in more detail and like very detailed. But at least everybody is named the same as in their number, so it should be easier. And thank goodness we have amazing beta readers and editors, so they're able to pick up on these things.
Yeah, they were fantastic. Yeah.
The things that authors do for their readers, right? I mean, all of our spreadsheets. Well, this has been so much fun, and there's plenty more books that we could talk about. But we have maybe we'll do a part 2 one of these days. But I'm going to get to meet you in 2 weeks. But in case folks aren't coming to Lit RPG Con, you know, and they're not going to get a chance to see your panels live, can you tell us what you have coming up and maybe where we can find you?
So we do have a Titans Core is going to release, I think it's August 25th.
Yeah.
And we should have a simultaneous audiobook and ebook release as well. And we'll have a few paperbacks at Lit RPG Con.
Yeah.
So if you come see us, you can get your kind of first copy, first access there.
Nice.
Yeah.
Um,
And can I ask who's narrating? Do you know yet?
We do. You want to say it?
Can we say?
I don't know. It was on Amazon, so.
Did you say? Yeah, I'm not sure if we. We
look on Amazon, and maybe it's still there.
Okay. All right. Yeah, I don't want to get you in trouble with Jez.
Yeah, he'll understand.
Okay. All right. Yeah. Well, Aoife, anything to add?
It's just been great to be on here. Thanks a million for having us. Where else you can find us is unchartedbloodlines.com. I say things like a question all the time. I think so. Yes, that's where you are. Yeah, Rachel keeps me organized and keeps me going. Yeah. So it's been brilliant.
I mean, I would just love to be a fly on the wall to watch you two work together. I think it's awesome. The stories sound amazing, and I'm excited to meet you and to come to your panels at Lit RPG Con. So we'll see you all in 2 weeks. And thank you again for coming.
Thanks.
Thank you.
All right. Bye-bye. And we